I just want to let you all know, if you are that person that likes to ghost and then come back a year later, 6 months later, I just want to tell you right here, as I'm looking into, like, as my soul looks into this camera, no, stop it. Seanydoo. Woo! Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Seanydoo. You can call me Sean, Seanydoo. Does not matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here. You might be looking at me and like, yo, what's with the virtual backdrop? Well, yeah, this is a little solo show, and I'm changing up the format of the solo Seanydoo, episodes so that, yeah, you all can kind of get a little bit more intimate with me. I would love to have you here as I speak so smoothly into the microphone. So yeah, this episode, I'm going to kind of like get you all a little bit introduced as far as just some of the stuff that happens over in the Patreon, like just show you some of like the content, like the behind the scenes stuff, as far as just some of my, most unhinged interactions in a dating environment, like, from a couple of years back. Again, if you want to get involved in a Patreon and kind of just see some of the behind the scenes content and, get interactive with the community over there, go to patreon.com/situations podcast and you'll get all the behind the scenes content. And I'm going to start doing some promo codes over there too, so you all can kind of get up to speed on all the latest and greatest and get promo codes for stuff off on the merch and stuff. And so go to the merch as well. So you go to situationspodcast.com, click on the merch tab and get all your good stuff over there. So yeah, as you're listening to this right now, I'm away on the seas on a little cruise. So yeah, knocking on wood that it doesn't go down like the Titanic. Has been about what? Let's see, about a little over. Yeah, last time I was on a cruise was 2016. Yeah, and that was because that was my honeymoon for my now ex-wife. So that is crazy. Wow. Yeah, that was last time that I was on a cruise. But anyway, so as you're listening to this, I'm down in Ensenada having a good time. So give me all your best thoughts and recommendations and stuff like that to do down over there, down yonder. But yeah, other than that, want to jump in and kind of just get you all up to speed. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. Ooh, fucking we go through so much of dating. And I got a couple of Hinge and Unhinged dating app screenshots I would love to share with you all as well. So yeah, you all are going to get a lot of good encounters with this one. And I'm going to do some screen sharing to kind of just show some of the stuff. So yeah. I'm going to tell you all in advance, don't judge me for my 1 million tabs. I am notorious for having millions of tabs open. I kid you not, one time my computer froze. This was like an old MacBook Pro that I had like a long time ago. I had this MacBook Pro. It froze, and then it just, because I had too many tabs open, it was like a 2010 or 2011 MacBook Pro, and it froze because I had so many tabs open that it just stopped working. And then I had to take the hard drive out and put it into a whole nother computer. It was a whole like situation. But needless to say, I'm glad that computers have come a long way where you can now have a million tabs open and it won't affect your computer too much, but anyway, it does slow down your RAM, but I know we're not here to talk about computers and all that tech geeky talk. So yeah. What else? I want you all to also, go ahead and follow the Instagram, because that page has all the cool, social media clips and all that stuff. And then, yeah, if you all have any guests you want me to have on as well, definitely let me know. I do got some more guests lined up, so that's all in the on the hard drive, ready to go, all edited and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm always looking for some subject matter experts, SMEs, as some would call them, in certain environments. So yeah, if you got somebody that you really want on the show, like they could literally have any occupation, let me know and I would be happy to bring them on. And yeah, so with that, I'll kind of just preface and go into like the whole, dating and relationship stuff in the past. So since this would like we'll kind of treat this as almost as if you're in the Patreon environment. So yeah, I would say probably 2022, after like my most recent relationship in 20 had ended in 2022. I was like notoriously like dating on the app, so like on and off or whatever a little bit. And I remember even just then encountering people that would just ghost and just not respond or get on the date, and somebody was just like, like the energy in person did not match what the energy was on, behind the screen. And so it's definitely wild. And I remember one time I was connecting with this person, and our schedules were quite opposite. This would have been like late 2022, yeah. And I remember our schedules were quite opposite. And well, you know what? Before actually, anyway, I'm gonna tell this story, and then I'm gonna like rewind a little bit because I want to also preface something as well. But anyway, so remember connecting with this person, and I remember we were planning out like the first, date meetup and all that good stuff. Like finding out like a bar or whatever that would work out for the first date. So here I am, like, sending the recommendations and everything, and she's like, "Cool, can't wait to meet you." All right, cool. So, and at the time, I was doing a show, or fuck, where was I doing? Oh yeah, I was doing a show over at the Lyric Opera Chicago. So my schedule was pretty like intense, like, going from work and then going to the theater, and then trying to also have a, dating life, and then also try to have a social life. So my schedule was all over the place. So our schedules were quite opposite. But anyway, we found one night that worked. I sent the recommendation. She's like, "Cool, I'm definitely down to try out this bar." So it was Emporium in Chicago, for those of you that know the area and know Emporium. It's a nice, it's a cool first day spot because you got like cool little arcade games and stuff like that. But then you got like the cool drinks and stuff like that. This was back before I gave up drinking and stuff. But yeah, so uh the date and everything was all set up. And so the day of the date comes. And so I check in like literally like that morning, like, "Hey, so and so, just wanted to check in, make sure we're still on." Never hear anything, right? And I'm like, you know what? Well, I would feel extremely bad if if you know I decide not to go to this place, and because again, I checked in and she never responded. The what any normal person would do would be like, "Oh well, fuck, well, if they didn't respond, if they didn't respond to my check-in, don't show up, because like, yeah, you'll just end up getting stood up." But anyway, that's kind of what happens. Like, so I just said, "Hey, so like I said, so that morning I sent the text to check in and make sure that we're still good to go." And yeah, never heard back. And so I was like, well, I would feel like an ass if uh you know she shows up and I don't, or whatever. So I still show up and I wait for about 10 minutes and the outside in the front. And then I message her. I'm like, "Hey, waiting in the front. Just let me know your ETA." Never hear back. I waited 10 minutes and then I go. I'm like, "Nope, not for me." So, and that was pretty much like the end of that. But it's so fucking crazy because literally, like, I want to say maybe like almost a year later. So this is like early mid 2023, this same person rematches with me on fucking Hinge and reaches out in her first message and is just like, "Hey Sean, you want to try this again?" And I kid you not, I fucking like hit the X. I said, I unmatched whatever. I was like, "Nope." I was like, I'm not fucking doing this shit again. Like what the fuck? It's like I would have it would have made so much more sense if she had just stayed a ghost and just remained in the fucking graveyard. The fact that she came back and sent like you know how on Hinge you can send like that match note, like where like if you comment under somebody's prompt or picture or whatever, and then and then it goes over into their inbox for them to match back with you. So like I said, so yeah, so I saw that message talking about, shall we try this again? I'm like, I just immediately hit the X and didn't even match. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that again. Honestly, looking back, I'm like, damn, maybe I should have still matched with her. And the reason why is because I wanted to get back. I was like, damn, I should have got back at her for that. I should have matched with her, set up the date, and then the day of the date, she checks in. Hey, Sean, are we still on? And then, nope, you don't even see my black ass. It's like, nope. So I so wanted to do that. If because whoo, even back then, like, because like again, this was like 2 years ago, so I would have been petty. I wanted to be petty, but I was like, nah, I got to be the bigger person. So yeah, needless to say, I just didn't match with her and just kept it moving. But going back to earlier, what I was saying. So you know how earlier I was saying, yeah, after my most, like recent relationship, relationship ended in like 2022. So you all know the story of somebody that I was dating in COVID from 2020 to 2022. So once that ended, I had one foot in, one foot out the second time around because again, after that, I was just like, I can't trust that somebody changes in a matter of like a month or whatever. Because that's pretty much. And you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and show the message on here too, since that is part of the Patreon, like exclusive privileges. So you all can get an idea of kind of like what I went through. But before I kind of allude to that and transition to that, again, you all know I don't leak names and faces and people's, like, we don't do any of that shit over here. Again, like, I just talk about the situations and and of course, if it's like a really unhinged like screenshot or whatever, so that's just ridiculous. Of course, like, yeah, I'll share the screenshot, but of course, we don't show people's names and faces. We're not about that over here. Like, but these are just like kind of just life outtakes and lessons from my own life that again that really changed and affected who I became, as far as just like how I showed up for not only myself, but how I presented myself, even just in that dating environment. Because, um, yeah, like that relationship did put me through hell. But anyway, so since the second time around, because she wanted to get back together, like literally a month after I broke it off, I was so reluctant, and I was like, nobody changes in a matter of a month. And she was like, I can change. I can change. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yada, 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 yada. You'll see the message. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so, some of you may be asking, well, Sean, why did you get back onto like, the dating market? Like, if your last relationship ended mid 2022, why did you get back onto like the dating, apps, like, 5, 6, or 7, or however many months later? And the answer for that was because, like, yeah, I had one foot in and one foot out. I just could not really see myself fully going through with that relationship fully ever again. Like, yeah, we were boyfriend and girlfriend again for a second time, that second round. But I told her, hey, I have one foot in, one foot out, because I can't trust that you did the work and that you truly did change. And so I kind of just, you know, I kind of was just waiting for her to prove that she had changed. And unfortunately, it wasn't really much like change, because we went right back to arguing almost every single day. And so yeah, that's pretty much what that was. And so by the time that second time around ended, yeah, I was already like, yeah, I'm already ready to, like, get back out there and start dating again. So that's why, yeah, like a few months after round two ended, I was already back on the apps, because I was like, well, I mean, I had already healed from like part one, and I didn't subject myself to that same amount of hurt and pain the second time around. So by the time I was done the second time around, I was like, yeah, I'm just ready to just get back out there and just see if I can find somebody for me. And then, some things started to align in my personal life, where I was able to get on to a better track of getting out here to LA, where I currently live now. And so, yeah, it took it took a lot to get to, be able to position myself in this current setup out here in LA. But yeah, 2023 was so at the start of 2023 to halfway through 2023, that's when I was like, yep, I'm putting all the pieces together to move to LA. So by that point, I started to kind of just, take my foot off the gas pedal on the dating apps and just like, kind of just, start to retract and just, focus on me, you know. And but yeah, so that was pretty much how like kind of like how that went. And like, yeah, um, still dated intentionally 2023. And then, by the time I left and came out here, yeah, I kind of just started to focus on my acting career and all that stuff, and podcasting and music and all the other stuff that goes along with it. But even before I left, the people that I had met and gone on dates with knew, hey, I'm moving in a year, so this is kind of like my timeline. And yeah, that was pretty much the gist of it. Again, you all are getting the like a little bit of the shiny do tea, because again, this is kind of like the high level overview stuff that I kind of talk about in the Patreon page, and I give like very very cool high level updates and stuff like that, like what's going on with me as far as just like some of the career stuff, and some of the dating stuff that I hear from friends and stuff. So yeah. um so yeah, without further ado, let me see if I can get that Patreon page loaded up for you guys, because yeah, I want to kind of show you all the the message that I was talking about. So give me 2.5 seconds. Um, oh yeah, and I do have like a conversation from like a Bumble match back in 2020. I think this is 2023. Yeah, a Bumble match from way back when. Yeah, that also was a little bit, you know, like ridiculous. So yeah, you all got some. You all are getting some really good tea. So make sure to join the Patreon and support your pal Shiny Doo. Shiny Doo loves you. And let's see. So with that, I will get right into it. So do. Don't you just and like, yeah, you all are getting like the raw, unedited, uncut version. Like you all are seeing this in real time. I'm not going to do any special editing or sending it or be like, yeah, let's chop off this mistake. But yeah, you're all getting like the raw stuff. Okay, so now I'm about to do the screen share. So again, brace yourselves for the 1.5 million tabs I have on my screen. All right. Cool. I mean, just making sure I got nothing personal, like my social security card, like nothing, like none of my, or my address, none of my personal information showing on the screen, because then, you know, you all will be trying to what do you call it? Steal my identity. We can't have that, guys. Come on now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just do the entire like window. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Okay. So it says Riverside is sharing my screen. So you probably are seeing like a million freaking tabs. If you are seeing a million tabs, again, I apologize. All right. So here we go. So this message came from my ex a month after I broke it off. This was the relationship that was from 2020 to 2022. So after I broke it off the first time, I had broke it off, like, what was this, like it was like October or November of 2021, like around Halloween of 2021. And so like a month later, she had reached out to me, and this was like, her message to me that reeled me back in. And so I know some of you are probably listening to the audio only version, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this for you guys. So people that are actually watching, brace yourselves and just follow along with me. So this is from my ex. She said, "Hello, Shawnee. I want to share my feelings and thoughts with you. Let me know if I am stepping over a boundary by doing so. I want you with everything I am. I physically crave you. When I think of your spirit and attitude towards life, my heart fills with love for you, and I know you are all I need to be happy and fulfilled in a relationship. I also know more and more every day that I am willing to give it my all with you. I'm not scared to be vulnerable and to trust you. I want nothing more. At the same time, I promise I am never willing to cling or force anything between us because I know it will work without those insecure behaviors. I know I'm in love with you and I know I want to be in a true partnership with you. And I really know I will save the best parts of me for you, especially since you did nothing to hurt me and only help me get closer to understanding my light and path in life. I hope you're doing well. So again, that was like a month after, I had broke it off and I was just like, yeah, I just can't do this. You know what I mean? And so after that, it was just like, my response was pretty much just like, hey, I don't believe anybody, can change in a matter of a month. And then, she kind of just like, said some personal things that I'm not going to share on here, but she just said some personal things that kind of reeled me back in. And so, yeah, that pretty much what, got me to go back into that relationship for the second time. And then I had told her, hey, I'm going to have one foot in, one foot out. You have to be okay with that. I don't think that that'll ever change because I'm just so hurt. And I don't know if I'll ever, not be hurt by that. And she accepted those terms, because I was pretty much checked out by that point, and I knew it wasn't going to last because, like, yeah, if you're dating somebody, and I'm gonna stop sharing for a second, but yeah, so if you're dating somebody and somebody is telling you, hey, I'm not available, or hey, I have one foot in and one foot out, or hey, I don't trust the, you know, whatever it is between us, you got to believe that person, because if you don't believe that, or if you're willing to kind of just take scraps and breadcrumbs or whatever, like, not that I was breadcrumbing this person, because again, I had shared with her that I was emotionally checked out. Like, I couldn't do this. Like, you have to be okay that I am emotionally checked out. She accepted those terms. But like I said, if someone is telling you that, you got to believe that, and you have to be able to accept that and move on. Like, yeah, if you accept that and you still want to date them, that's fine. But you can't go down the path later on and say, hey, I feel really hurt that you're not all the way in this, because they can go back and say, hey, I told you this from day fucking one. And it is not my problem that we're, a few months in or whatever the case is, and you're still feeling that. So if someone's telling you that they're checked out, that they're not all the way there, that they got other things, that, like, you have to believe that, and put yourself first. You got to put yourself first. You know what I mean? Like, you because again, if you don't, you're going to end up just feeling so undervalued throughout that entire process, and it's not good for you, and it's not good for the person that you're dating, because you're gonna be making them feel like, because, yeah, if that other person has a heart, they'll be like, oh yeah, I do feel guilty that this person feels like that, But let's say the person doesn't have a heart, they'd be like, so not my problem. Figure it out yourself. You know what I mean? Like someone could be like that, because they'd be like, well, I told you from the beginning that, I'm checked out, so you want to do this again, and I'm willing to give you another chance, but you you gotta do all the emotional lifting, man, because I'm checked out. So not that was me during like this round two of that last relationship. Like, I was still able to kind of put my emotions into it and still be thoughtful when it mattered and everything. But just overall, it just came down to me having to constantly remind her, like, hey, I can't I can't be pouring from an empty cup, because I've already poured so much from round one of this. I don't believe that you've fully changed, and this is me trying to give you this opportunity to show me that things are going to be different. And we just went right back to arguing. And so I was just like, I'm glad that I didn't put my heart back out there again towards her the way I did round one, because I would have felt so fucking like stupid for myself. And that's why round two, I didn't feel stupid, because I was like, well, I didn't put my whole heart out there, and she knew I didn't, because I couldn't risk it. Because I knew that if I were to put my whole heart out there again and go 1,000% like I did round one, whew, like like it would have just undone all the hard work that I did on myself. So that's one of the screenshots that you'll see on the Patreon page. Again, I definitely recommend. So I'll do another one, and then we'll kind of do this text thread, and then we'll get right into the hinge or unhinged. But yeah, again, go to patreon.com/situations podcast if you want to join the private community. And yeah, come on, guys. Like I want to see more of you on there. I mean, if I don't see more registrations, y'all might catch me. Y'all might catch me out here on only stands. But I can't say the actual word because then like the video will get taken down. But you know what I mean, right? Only stands. But no, I'm just kidding. I can't do that. I just couldn't. Maybe for $1 million, if like but even then, I couldn't show my goodies. Like, nah, I just can't. I just can't. But anyway, support the Patreon, you all, and also thank you for letting me be vulnerable here, you guys. If you all really enjoyed this episode, comment down below in the YouTube page if you want me to kind of like have more intimate conversations with you all like this. Definitely let me know. But again, this is just kind of just like a one-off kind of exclusive, you know, insight of what the Patreon folks get to experience. So yeah. And okay, so I do have another screenshot from Bumble. This is from 2023. Yeah, we can probably do this one. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Do entire screen. Yes, I'm fine with that. Yes, share my screen, please. All right. So share my screen. Hopefully y'all aren't taking my damn social security number and everything, I got my birth certificate on this page right here, just fucking with y'all. I bet y'all are like, wait, where? Where? All right. So this next one. Okay, so this one is from Bumble on 2023. Honestly, I forget how that, like, I think this one was like a ghosting, if I'm not mistaken, or if I'm yeah, I think it was, yeah. So anyway, this one is, hey Sean, happy Monday, happy Monday. Hey Lauren, and I hope you had a good weekend. Those are awesome pictures of your travels. Okay, and again, it's not like I'm showing anybody's face or whatever. There's like 1.5 billion Laurens or whatever. So of course you will never know which Lauren it is. Anyway, all right. So those are all pictures. So I said, also, hopefully this gives you all, like you guys out there, insights to how to have a decent dating conversation with, like for those of you dating in a hetero space. Hopefully this gives you insight into how to have a conversation and not be a fucking perv. I mean, guys, like stop sending dick pics in your dating app shit or whatever, or asking a girl, so what are you wearing? Like, like, come on, guys. Stop minning. The minning are minning way too damn hard. But anyway, so yeah, so I said, hope you had a good weekend. Those are also pictures of your adventures and travels, of the places you've been. Are there any favorites? Very generic, just like, hey, I noticed this about your profile. It looks like you travel a lot, like let me know, like, yeah, like some of your favorite places. So it starts off good. Okay. Oh, difficult, good but difficult question. I say my favorite has been France. What about you? I'm like, oh yeah, enjoy the Bahamas, love the people, food, culture. As far as locally, have you done all the touristy stuff, like the museums, tours, festivals, all that stuff? Seems like there's always something going on in the city. And she's like, oh, she said, I've never been. And then she says, as far as locally, what part of, oh yeah, she's like, oh yeah, so she's like, totally. So what part of Chicago are you in? I'm like, oh yeah. And so going back to the earlier conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, highly recommend, talking about the Bahamas. And so I'm like, yeah, so I'm in Irving Park. How about you? Since the holidays are upon us. Oh yeah, that's right, because this was November 14th, 2023. So it was like right before, for those of you that live in the States, this is right before Thanksgiving holiday and Christmas. Because of course, dating around the holidays is always difficult because people are in and out of town and got familial obligations and all that stuff. So of course, trying to schedule a date around the holidays is going to be difficult, but this was right before the holidays. And so I said, yeah, so I'm in Irving Park. How about you? Since the holidays are upon us, maybe we can check out a holiday themed event and activity sometime. And nothing, never heard back. I'm just like, wait, what? Like the conversation was going well and it just like ended there. It's like, what the fuck? And again, it's just kind of like, you know, to the fellas out there, yeah, if you get ghosted, of course you got to just move on. It doesn't make sense to like double text or triple text, because like, yeah, no response is a response. And that's what you got to remember. No response is a response, because if they can't put the time and effort into just responding to a simple ass message, they're not for you. Because if they actually care, they would have responded. And if she actually cared about going on a date, she would have responded, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, like here's my availability. Let's set something up. And then like, yeah, I would have coordinated, send recommendations, and then yeah, we would have gotten to the date. But of course that didn't happen because she just, ghosted. But also on the side of the women, of the hetero women, all right, ladies, like don't take this criticism too bad, but if you're out here dating on the apps and a guy is trying to like, actually get off the app, and this guy is not wasting your, because like you said, ladies and gentlemen, read the text messages, like the messages here on Bumble. You can see that like this conversation wasn't like, some week long, interaction, like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and like some fucking pen pal situation. This was, hey, um, I noticed this is about your profile. You seem like a really cool person. What are some of your favorite things to do? And then I shared a little bit about myself, and it's like, hey, let's make a plan to get off the apps. So, ladies, if a guy is doing that and doing the work and literally trying to coordinate, getting off the apps, and obviously you like this guy if you swiped on him to get this conversation going. So if you want to follow through with that, and like, this guy doesn't give you any red flags as far as like, anything in the message, then, get on that date. Like, like, so to the ladies out there that complain that guys don't want to plan, or that all men don't plan, or all men are terrible at dating on the apps, hopefully this right the fuck here is proof that not all guys are terrible at communicating on dating apps, because this is an example right here that I was great with communication, but unfortunately, this person just decided to ghost for whatever reason. Again, this is what, 2 years ago. So who the fuck knows? Like, maybe she connected with somebody else, so like, so there's so many different explanations, so somebody could say, yeah, Sean, yeah, maybe she connected with somebody, or things start to get serious with somebody else. Or, hey, Sean, you did text her, on that Bumble app, what was this, November 14th, 2023? Yeah, you did, hit her up like a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. Maybe it just fell through the cracks because she had all of her familial plans and stuff like that, going on, and when she was out of town or whatever. And my response to that would be like, you're absolutely right. Yes, and the and is, if she is that busy, she could have messaged back and said, hey, these next 2 or 3 weeks, I got a lot of things going on, but would love to grab a drink and go out when I'm back in town, or when I'm free again after the holidays. How does that sound? It would have taken 2 seconds just to say that. You know what I mean? And so, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to like be like a dick about how I'm, communicating this to you all that are listening and watching, but I'm trying to give you an example of like, hey guys, I'm trying to be the big, the big brother here, like, uncle or uncle seanydoo is trying to show you tough love, that like, hey guys, you cannot complain if that all guys or all girls, like all men and all women, in the hetero space are terrible at dating or terrible at communicating, because it's not all people. And for people like me at that time that was putting in all this work and effort and being very intentional about how I was going about and dating and stuff like that, it made people like me that do put in the work feel frustrated, like, damn, all of my efforts are just going like to waste. Like, I'm showing this person interest, and they came and at least just say, hey, I'm not interested. Because then, like, yeah, like, um at least at that point I would know, okay, cool, I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to take it personal. Like I said, at that time, in some of you might say, yeah, Sean, well, it seems you did take it personal, because why is this screenshot on the Patreon, and why are you talking about it today? I'm giving you an example, like, that, hey, everybody's gonna have the dark side of dating, or like the the flops, or the what do you call it, the damn, I wish this got to see the light of day. So yeah, just reminding you all to just be good to yourselves, so yeah. And let's see. So we do got a couple more, but let's take one little breaky break. Trying to improve your skincare game? Guess what? I got a little something for you. You can improve the health of your skincare with the Vogue approved. Yes, you heard that right. Vogue, as in Vogue magazines, the models. Yes, that Vogue. The Vogue approved beauty product, Herbal Face Food, the most potent anti-aging, multi-correction skincare product on the market. Yes. So hit that link in the show notes or video description and use our code SPHFF to get 20% off at checkout. Visit herbalfacefood.com to get started. That's HERBALFACEFOOD.com. All right. And use code S as in Sam, P as in pineapple, H as in Henry, F as in Frank, F as in Frank to get 20% off at checkout. That's SPHFF to get 20% off. All right. Herbalfacefood.com. Okay. Y'all got the hookup. So let them know that Situaseans podcast sent you. All right. All right, folks, and we are back. So I'm going to go ahead and get on into the next thing, which would be this so this is a screenshot from 2023, January 2023. So this was an interaction that I had from January 2023 from somebody that I met on Coffee Meets Bagel, and they had ghosted me in January 2023, came back from the fucking dead in like 6 months later in June. And I'm like, what the fuck? So that shit was the fuck hinged. Like, it was ridiculous because I understand that if you have a busy life going on, you got a lot of shit going on and life happens. I get it. I've been there. I've been the person I've been the person that has had to tell somebody on that I met on a dating app, hey, I got, like this show, this musical that I'm in, or I got this, this film production that I'm doing or whatever. And I gotta focus on that a little bit. I am so sorry. If you're willing to wait for 2 weeks for my schedule to clear up, cool. If not, no worries. And yeah, as more times it has been I see that you live a busy life, I guess. So that's okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna, move on. So I understand that life gets in the way, but to just ghost somebody completely and then come back 6 months trying to be like, hey, what's up? Like, that made me want to take my phone and just throw it out the window. Like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? Okay, I'm gonna say this here and now. You're gonna hear this from me right now. And no matter where I am in my dating life, no matter what the time capsule will reflect, like this episode is a time capsule. No matter where I am in my in my dating life, as long as I'm still dating or whatever, I'm gonna just say this here and now. If you have, and this is for anybody in the past, present, future. If you met me or whatever, or we went on a date or whatever the case is, doesn't matter. We met for the dating app or whatever, in real life, whatever. What if you and I went on a date and you automatically, and then out of nowhere you just ghost because whether I didn't give you a reason to to just ghost, you just ghosted because you just didn't have the heart to tell me that this wasn't for you, whatever. If you just randomly just ghost out of just the blue, I'm going to say this now. Do not contact me 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, ever. Once you ghost me, I have a rule. After 72 hours, if I don't hear back from that person, it's safe to assume it's not going to work out. Because again, remember, ladies and gentlemen, and like, and you know, and to all, and to my non-binary friends out there, if someone is telling you something, or if someone is if someone likes you, they're gonna put in the effort. If they have a busy life, they're gonna tell you, hey, I'm too busy. I'll reach back out to you at this X date. But anyway, so like I said, doesn't like from for anybody past, present, future. If you've ever ghosted me and like for whatever reason, let that just stay in the past and just let that die. Do not contact me now. Do not contact me in the fucking future, because it's like I've let that go and I don't want to go back down that road, because it's like obviously you did not have, you know, strong enough feelings to like want to keep this going, which is why you ghosted or whatever. And just let it be. Let's let it be. Let's not try to like go back into the past. Like just let it the fuck go. All right? Like there are other people out there. And again, this is something too that I have started to realize in my dating life is and again, like this is why you all need to join the Patreon, because I get fucking real on the Patreon page. I swear to fucking God. Like, so this is exactly why I started to learn in my dating life that yeah, you know, a lot of people start to see like a lot of people say they want good guys or they want decent guys, but then go and dates the guy that gives zero fucks about them, and then they realize and come back, oh shit, like this guy that actually treated me nice, like actually had a point of this guy that that treated me nice. Oh shit, like he didn't ask for anything. He wasn't, you know, expecting anything. He wasn't, you know, trying to take advantage. Like he was just a decent guy. Oh shit, I like it like 9 times out of 10, like not all the time, but most of the time they're gonna come back like they come back because they realize, oh shit, everything else out there on the market just ain't what I wanted, and now I realize what the fuck I just, you know, lost in that one person that I was just getting to know. So let me go back to see if they'll take me back or whatever, and see if they're interested in picking back up where we left off at. And that is just like the slimiest thing to do, because I would tell you all this: Shawn Michael Williams will never be somebody's, you know, like second, third, fourth choice. It's like either you get one shot, and it's the same way. I would never treat somebody as a second choice. I'd be like, hey, if I want to date you, I want to date you. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you know, stay on the sidelines. Like, let me get back to you. Let me just see how these other connections work out, and then I'll come back to you. I don't do that shit, because that's wrong. That's so fucked. So, you know, again, letting you know, I am never going to be somebody's second, third, fourth choice, because like I have been that a couple of times in my younger years, and that shit fucking sucks. And I've been the afterthought in my own personal family life, in my nuclear family dynamic at home. So since I grew up around that, I knew early on that I was like, I was second choice at home. I'm not about to be second choice in my adult life. And so like I take shit like that personally, because it's just like, yeah, that's wrong. And that's why I make sure that I don't treat somebody else that same way, because yeah, it's so fucked. Okay, so sorry to go into that tangent, but I just needed to just preface that before we jump into this screenshot. There was another screenshot I want to share, but we'll just kind of, you know, do this one, and then we'll roll through maybe one hinge or unhinge. And then, yeah, if you all want to get more into more details, you're gonna have to join the Patreon, y'all. So hopefully, if this episode isn't selling the Patreon, I don't know what will. It's like, damn, do I need to fucking get bare naked and show my ass for like, you know, for more folks to join the Patreon? I mean, you know, we got a few people over there, but I want more. I want you all to reap the benefits of Situaseans podcast. This is a community, and I want you all to learn from my mistakes, because I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'll be the first to admit that I'm far from fucking perfect. But I do like to hear other people's opinions inside of the coin, and other people's experiences, because that's only going to help me be a better person. If I don't know what you're going through or how you feel about something I did or whatever or didn't do, I don't know what I don't know. So if you don't communicate that to me, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better friend to you? How can I be a better partner to you, or a relative, or whatever it is that Shiny Do is to you? How can I be better for you if I don't know what it is that you're going through, or what it is that you feel about me, or or lack of? So again, this episode, if anything, should teach everybody about communication and why it's so important to just fucking communicate and fucking be respectful. It's not hard, y'all. It's not hard. Just treat other people the way that you would want to be treated. Would you want somebody to treat you the same way that you're treating somebody else? If not, then no. Like it kind of comes down to a logic tree. Okay, would I like if somebody did this to me? If yes, then okay, cool. You know, do what you got to do. If no, then what are you gonna do to make sure that that other person doesn't feel hurt and that you don't feel hurt? Okay, I'm going to go into another long tangent. So again, let me go ahead and go and do this last screen share here. I thought I was going to have more time to get to the unhinged, but yeah, we are running out of time, ladies and gentlemen. So we will we will reconvene on the Patreon page. So yeah, doing another screen share. So here we go. Okay, so this one is okay. So this one says screenshots from 621's episode. Oh yeah, so if you all tuned into June 2021's I'm sorry, no. If you all tuned into June 21st episode from 2023. So I don't know what episode number that is, but just go back to your podcast apps or YouTube or whatever you listen in. Go back to the episode because I do reference this conversation. Because I remember, I don't think I shared the entire conversation, but I did reference it. And I said, go and check it out or whatever to find out more about it. But yeah. Okay. So for the older of you that are listening only, I'm going to go ahead and read the kind of like the preface before I get into the screenshot. So it says, as I mentioned in June's 21st episode of the podcast, after a first date with someone that went well in early January of 2023, we both wanted to do another date. So trying to be accommodating and mindful of her time, she was a nurse. She was nursing a prior injury that occurred a few days before we went out on our first date. Oh, I remember this. Yeah. So she showed up on a, long story short, she showed up on a date wearing a cast. And I was like, are you, and I remember in that conversation, I was like, are you sure you want to do this date? Because if you're injured and in a cast, I think you should be, resting, resting up at home. And she was like, no, I still want to, go out and meet up with you. Mind you, this was in January of 2023. I remember it was cold and snowing. It was icy on the road and she was still wanted to show up for this first day. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, girl, you could have slipped and fell, but more power to her for still wanting to show up to the first date, Anyway, so so we both wanted to do, yeah. So I tried to check in with her to see how she was feeling before we try to put another date on the books. She completely ghosted and went MIA. And for those of you the older audience, MIA, what does that mean? Missing in action. Fast forward to 2023, but fast forward to June 2023. So this is 6 months later. She comes out of nowhere with a, hey, we'll call this a haunting. Like, yeah, like I said, like, someone's dead. And then out of nowhere, they just come out of nowhere like, hey, how's it going? It's like, damn, you were a ghost and now you're coming back. Like, you're haunting me. Anyway, so though this caught me off guard, I tried to give her another chance, and get a second date on the books. And like, again, this is all from my, like, my point of view. So she completely resorted back to old habits of not responding. And once again, does ghosts and leaves me on red. It's understandable that life gets busy, but why would she reach out to me after ghosting me the first time and then do it again? It makes no sense. Based on prior experience, she's proven herself to be unreliable and inconsistent, which is why I suggested drinks to not waste money on booking a fun, creative date activity in case she flakes. Again, because of the fact that she came back in 6 months later, I was like, I'm not about to take this girl on like a dinner date or like golfing or like not golfing, but you know what I mean, like cute little mini golf date or sushi or any date that's gonna run me $100 or more. I'm not trying to take this girl out on that date because it's like, well, she ghosted the first time. Why the fuck would I feel inclined to take somebody on a $75 or $100 date or whatever if she's gonna repeat that same habit? I'm wasting my money and my time, right? And if any of you says, and if any of you disagree, oh, Sean, you should, like, yeah, even though she ghosted, you should give her a second chance and take her out on an expensive date. I'd be like, okay, well then it sounds like, like, hey, that like, if you want to waste your money, you go right ahead. But if someone isn't proving to you that they're into you, why are you wasting your money? It all comes down to that. Don't waste your money on people that don't value you. So anyway, so Oh yeah. So it's understandable that life gets busy, but why would you reach out to me after ghosting me the first time and then do it again? It makes no sense. Based on prior experience, she's proven herself to be unreliable and inconsistent, which is why I suggested drinks and oh yeah, to not waste money on booking a fun, creative activity in case she flakes. On my end, which I never got to express since she ghosted, I wanted to at least do drinks to level set and have an understanding of where her headspace is at, because it's not cool to leave someone on red for 6 months and then pop back in with a hey you, like nothing happened or as if no time has passed. I have since blocked the number. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I blocked the number. I was like, nah, because she might reach out again, and that is just gonna like send me over the edge. I will throw my phone out the window. And so I'm just like, you know what, just to protect my mental sanity, I'm not about to entertain this again. So I blocked her number because I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Anyway, so I've since blocked the number and moved on, but this one definitely annoyed the hell out of me for a bit. I'm calling this situation the ghost of winters past. What did you? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the screenshots. Okay, so this was from, again, this is from January 2023. All right. Okay, so let's get into it. So so this is Friday, January 20th. So I say, happy Friday. Hope your week was well and hoping that that injury has been healing a little bit more. Okay, so look at the timestamp here. Friday, January 20th at 1:41 p.m., right? Literally, and look at my note here. I said, as you can see, she leaves me on red in January, then randomly reaches back out in June. June 7th, a whole fucking month and like a whole fucking like not month, a whole fucking 6 months or whatever, damn near 6 months. She hits me with a hey you. And so look at my reply. So I replied that same day, about like 5 hours later. And so I say, oh, wow. Hey, did not see this coming. LOL. What happened since we last connected? She said, I got busy with both jobs. And so I responded, hoping work has been good lately. How's your ankle and leg? I remember you were in a cast last time. Has it healed okay since then? So this is me just checking in, just being like, hey, it's been a minute. I know since we last connected, you had an injury. How are you doing? This is me actually just being concerned for her welfare. Like, hey, how have you been since that injury? It's been a minute. So she said it's better now, but still going to therapy. Physical therapy for her leg. So I said, that's good to hear. Glad you're well on the road of recovery. What's your Friday evening, June 9th looking like? Would you like to hang out again sometime? So June 9th would have been 2 days after this message that I sent. So like so a couple days after the fact. All right. So she replies back to me with, we can plan on something. Unfortunately, I'll be working Friday night. And I said, sure thing. What about Saturday? Or I'm free Monday the 12th. So like almost like a week later or whatever. And then I put in parentheses, then the rest of that week, I'll be in rehearsals for a musical theater show I'm in. And so she's like, what time on Monday? I'm like, does 7 p.m. work? And she says that could work. And so Saturday, the day of, the Saturday, June 10th. So let's see. When she confirmed, Monday 6th. Yeah, okay, yeah. So here we go. So Saturday, June 10th, I said, hey, remind me. So this is 2 days before the day. I say, hey, remind me, what part of the suburbs are you coming from? Let's get drinks and catch up. I can come out closer to you like last time, whatever's easiest. Based on that, I'll send some recommendations. Here I am putting in like the legwork to be like, hey, I want to make this meetup as easy and convenient for you as possible, because I know you're in the suburbs, I'm in the city. People from the suburbs generally hate driving into the city, like at least in Chicago. If you're from Chicago, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. People from the suburbs hate driving into the city. And so this is me making it easy on her. Like, hey, so here already, I gave her a time and date. I gave her the ease of access, and I'm like, based on that, let me know what you think, and I'll send recommendations and locations. So here I am setting things up, doing the good work, right? Okay, so this is the last screenshot in the series. Oops, here we go. And so I say, and so yeah, so she said, so she says, like, what time on Monday? I'm like, does 7 p.m. work? She's like, that could work. Okay, cool. I'm like, remind me what time, what part of the suburbs you're coming from. Let's get drinks and catch up. I can come out closer to you, like last time, whatever's easiest. Based on that, I'll send some recommendations, right? So she doesn't respond to that, right? This is Saturday, June 10th, 2 days before like the date or whatever. Like, I'm like, let me know so that we can, get this going. So 2 days, 2 days later, on Monday, June 12th, the day of the actual date, I'm checking in because she hasn't responded in those 48 hours. I'm like, well, this day's about to happen tonight. At the time, like, the day's about to happen tonight. I still haven't heard from her, like, on her thoughts. I'm trying to send recommendations, but she's not responding. So the day to day, I'm like, are we still on for the night? Let me know before 3 p.m. if you can. Otherwise, I may have to wait until next week after my show ends. And I put this little note here. As you can see, she leaves me a red again. So and you see, and so she has read receipts active on her iPhone, because you see right here it says read 612. So she read it the day and just never responded. So that was just such a frustrating situation, because again, I'm just like, what the actual fuck? Because here I am putting in the work, trying to accommodate her after she ghosted me. That's the fucked up part about it. She ghosted me and I'm the one trying to be accommodating to her. Like, what the actual fuck, bro? So, like, again, it's like, I'm trying, like, I'm trying not not to, like, get too heated and animated over here, but this was literally like my reaction even back then behind. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm giving this girl a chance who reached out to me. I didn't reach out to her. I didn't say, hey, you, how's it going? She reached out to me six months fucking later. Like, I was already gone past that, like, let that shit go back in January of 2023. And then 6 months later in June 2023, she was like, hey, you, I just want to let you all know, if you are that person that likes to ghost and then come back a year later, 6 months later, I just want to tell you right here, as I'm looking into, like, as my soul looks into this camera, no, stop it. Stop it right the fuck now. Don't do that shit. I swear to fucking God, stop doing that. That is so damn trifling. Please stop doing that, okay? Please, 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 for the love of God, do not do that. If you're not interested in that person, leave it the fuck be. If you didn't respond within a week or whatever, leave it the fuck be. If you were dating somebody or whatever and it didn't work out and you want to give it a second chance with that guy, no, leave it or that girl, leave it the fuck be. Please, 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 leave it the fuck be. God damn. Anyway, you all have been getting like a really good episode. Like, I wasn't anticipating on going a full hour. I was going to try to make it 45 minutes, but looks like we're pretty much right at time. But I do got a lot of thoughts about those situations, and maybe on the next solo episode, I'll share some dating app screenshots from, like, like some dating app interactions or whatever that I went through as well. So yeah, you all will be able to see that. But yeah. Let's do one more little quick break, and then yeah, we will go ahead and end it there. Give me 1 second, folks. But yeah, let's take a little quick break. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, can you do me a really quick favor? Can you please rate and review this podcast? Like, hit that 5-star review, because, and I do read all the reviews because this helps me know how this podcast is helping others and how this podcast is serving you, because my job as a host is to serve you this podcast the way that you would prefer it to be. All right, you guys. So yeah, that was pretty much it. So yeah, go ahead and rate, review, and subscribe to the to the podcast. Your ratings and reviews help others find this podcast valuable. This helps me grow as not only a content creator but as a podcaster as well. And also subscribe to the Patreon if you all want more stuff like this, where I'm just like like mostly playfully yelling at my screen. Let me know. I'm happy to do this shit for y'all. I fucking love you all. For those of you that tune in and share this podcast with a mama, a papa, a brother, a sister, a friend, anybody out there that finds this show valuable, definitely share, rate, review, subscribe. This helps me so much, and it helps me become a better podcaster because I want to give you all the best version of this show possible. And I want to give you all of me. And that can only be done by sharing this podcast and helping and getting the word out, because this helps this podcast grow and ultimately, fostering a more supportive community and allowing us all to be better daters. But yeah. So with that, definitely take into consideration everything I said. If anything, this episode should teach you all about communication and why it's important to communicate. All right. With that, I will see you all back here for the next episode in a couple of weeks. Woo!